Yeah, tell him about down in advance. Staying out the way ain't enough. Even with time in my hands, I learned to move in a rush. Heard the kingdom wasn't needed saving. Brought some warriors in for the clutch. I got Layla encased in my grass. They ain't gonna heal through those bruises and cuts. Can't get too caught in the past. I fight through the scars while I'm marking the map.
Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Baby Wiggs review. I want to start by thanking Ubisoft for gifting me the deluxe edition of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. And man, has it been a blast. From the fast-paced combat to the gorgeous environment, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown is a refreshing exception to the usual tale of a franchise being brought back to life. Except the part we gamers see where said new entry is an embarrassment to the series. I'm looking at you, Sly4. Prince of Persia: Lost Crown throws that on its head. Personally, I can see more Prince of Persia in demand after this game. In this video, I'm going to use a system for reviewing I used on Assassin's Creed Mirage called Space. Story, parkour, abilities, combat, and environment. Now, like my Mirage review, we're going to dive into specifics of each category. First, let's talk story. Prince of Persia: Lost Crown introduces a new hero named Sargon, a young member of the legendary Persian warriors, the Immortals. Due to suffering and famine over the decades, and with the invasion of the Kushan Empire, Persia's on the brink of collapse. When the Kushan general Uvishka attempted an all-out assault on Persia, he was thwarted by Sargon and the Immortals, and they are all commended for these efforts by Queen Thomiris and Prince Hassan. But before celebrations can begin, Prince Hassan is abducted. As far as story goes, I think it's a very creative and unique one. When you get further into the game, there are certain elements that relate to Prince of Persia stories from a decade ago and give these ideas new life as they once again, after 10 plus years, leave our jaw dropped. There's also a lot here that's never been seen as well, and I'm very comfortably going to give the story in this game a 9 out of 10 for its ability to immerse you in a familiar prop problem while introducing the IP to a new audience in a 2.5D fashion that captures the Metroidvania style very well. Next, we talk parkour. While it's obvious this game isn't an old Prince of Persia or an Assassin's Creed game for that matter, Lost Crown blends its fast-paced movement and combat with all sorts of backflips, wall jumps, vaulting, sliding, and back ejects to really allow you to see just how agile Sargon can be. It's so fun to be able to fight enemies and enter and exit combat with no real limitation or slowdown factor between the two. You can basically race through areas and keep the speed and fast-paced gameplay even with the transition of defense and offense all the way till the battle is won. Now, while the game doesn't focus primarily on parkour, what elements it does have of it are executed wonderfully, and for that, it has earned an 8 out of 10 from me. Parkour is just so smooth, and it's just really visually pleasing. Now let's talk abilities. As far as abilities go, I don't want to spoil the game or the incredible abilities you will see later on in game, but I will talk about a few. The first being the Rush of Sumerg, and I'm not even going to say anything to start, I'm just going to show you guys how broken this is. Now I'm sure your head is filling with ideas on how to use this ability, but it doesn't stop there, because we also get a bow that doubles as a throwable item, and some badass finishing moves, even an ultimate, where you can drop a healing aura in a stationary position that is very risky to pull off when you may need it most, but it is beyond clutch if you can land it in a boss fight when you're out of potions. Again, just one of many badass Aether abilities. As far as abilities go, I do feel Sargon has immense power, but not enough to make the harder content like boss fights a pushover. I do wish there were elements of making your own build for Sargon, because this world would work perfectly for, I don't know, I guess you could call it building? I'm not sure. But what I am sure of is the abilities are really visually pleasing and feel very powerful in their own right. So for abilities in the Lost Crown, I'll give them a 7.5. Could be more to it, but the groundwork is 100% there and it has great potential. Next, let's talk combat. Combat was always a huge part of Prince of Persia, and Lost Crown is no different. Nothing can be said outside of what's already been said. It's fast-paced, smooth, and just so gorgeous. I love how the art team used the colors purple and blue for much of the art, and it looks sick seeing the colored trail on Sargon's swings. Outside of an aesthetic though, being able to mix so many attacks on multiple enemies at once in multiple different ways with multiple different combos, Lost Crown made me feel like I was playing a 2.5D Devil May Cry. I was almost waiting on that triple S rating after wiping baddies off the map in seconds. Sargon is a force to be reckoned with, and nothing or no one will stop him in his path to protect Persia. For providing such a fun hack and slash type experience, combat in the Lost Crown gets a 9.5 out of 10 from me. The 0.5 is only missing because, while fun, the same mixed up combos do become noticeable, but they don't subtract anything from how fun it is. Last and definitely not least, let's talk about environment. The environment in Prince of Persia Lost Crown is really impressive for a 2D game. Look at the Assassin's Creed screen scrollers, look at the Rayman games, and you'll notice a pattern. Prince of Persia expands on that so much, from the way levels are set up to the architecture as well as background and foreground. It's just a really gorgeous game all around. Something I really liked was the bosses, like the Manticore and the Undead Prisoner, just to name two. I only want to name two because I don't want to spoil anything if at all possible. The thing that also impresses me is how drastically the environments can differ. From temple to jungle to woods to dungeons, this constant shift really keeps my focus, and the further the game goes, the better it gets. Like, I'm giving this one an easy 10, just because in my opinion, it's just so visually pleasing. Well, people, the scores are in. And in usual Baby Wiggs fashion, can I please get a drum roll? 9 out of 10. The only reason I can't give this game a 10 is, while it is very, very gorgeous, I've just never been fully taken away by 2D games. And I do think this is just the beginning of Sargon's story though. I think a sequel could really utilize a lot of the features from this game, but in a third-person form, because, I don't know, maybe I just think it would be better. Nevertheless, Prince of Persia Lost Crown is a masterpiece, and I will definitely be waiting for more wonderful Prince of Persia content from Ubisoft. What do you guys think about the game? Tell me about your experiences below in the comments section, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you like the content, consider on liking and subscribing. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you again soon.
Tell them about down in advance, staying out the way ain't enough.